The detention facility on Kepler 442b was supposed to be escape-proof. Warden Voss had boasted about it to every species in the Galactic Council, a maximum security prison designed to hold the most dangerous beings in known space. The walls were composed of metatitanium alloys. The energy shields could withstand antimatter blasts, and the guards were handpicked from 12 different warrior races. Yet none of that mattered when dealing with humans. Aaron sat cross-legged in his cell, a boy no older than 10 standard cycles, though Voss had learned that human ages were deceptive. The child had been brought in 3 months ago after being found on a derelict colony ship drifting near the Horsehead Nebula. No identification, no records, no family. Just a human child and the burnt wreckage of what appeared to be a Crithian battlecruiser in his wake. The council had deemed him too dangerous to roam free, too young to execute. So they sent him to Voss. The warden was a Kelvorian, 8 feet tall, exoskeleton like polished obsidian, for arms capable of crushing durasteel. He had maintained order in this facility for 17 years without incident. He prided himself on his iron discipline and unflinching authority, but Aaron unnerved him. The child never caused trouble. He ate his rations, followed the rules, and spent most of his time in the recreation yard sitting alone. The other inmates, murderers, war criminals, genetic experiments gone wrong, gave him a wide berth. They sensed something the guards couldn't quite articulate. Something old and terrible wearing a child's face. Then the cat arrived. It was a scrawny thing, somehow having stowed away on a supply transport. Orange and white, with one torn ear and a crooked tail. It wandered into the exercise yard during the daily recreation period, mewing pathetically. The inmates ignored it. The guards prepared to remove it, but Aaron stood up. The child walked across the dusty yard, and every prisoner instinctively stepped back. He knelt down, and the cat, starving and feral, immediately nuzzled into his palm. For the first time since his arrival, Voss saw the child smile that it was the most human thing he'd ever seen the boy do. "Request permission to keep it," Aaron said quietly that evening. The cat curled in his arms. Voss wanted to say no. Every regulation prohibited it, but something in those dark human eyes made him hesitate. 1 week trial period. It stays in your cell. You're responsible for it. Aaron nodded. "Thank you, Warden." The cat, whom Aaron named Nova, became the child's constant companion. The boy shared his rations, fashioned toys from scraps, and could be heard talking to it late into the night cycles. The prison's atmosphere changed subtly. Inmates seemed calmer. Guard rotations became routine rather than tense. Voss almost allowed himself to relax. That was his mistake. That it happened during a surprise inspection. The council had sent observers to evaluate the facility, and Voss was determined to demonstrate his complete control. He walked the cell blocks with rigid precision, the observers trailing behind, documenting everything. When they reached Aaron's cell, the cat was playing with a piece of string near the energy barrier. "Unacceptable," one observer clicked in Drethian. "Unauthorized biological contamination. Remove it immediately." Voss hesitated. "The animal has caused no problems. Now, Warden, or we'll note your facility as non-compliant." Voss's mandibles clicked in frustration. He signaled to a guard. "Remove the creature." Standard protocols. The guard entered the cell. Nova, sensing danger, tried to dart past him. The guard's reflexes were too quick. He grabbed the cat by the scruff of its neck. Nova yowled, hissing and scratching. The guard, frustrated and embarrassed before the observers, did what his training had taught him to do with combative subjects. He struck it. The crack of his armored fist against the small skull echoed through the cell block. Nova went limp, landing in a crumpled heap near the drain. Silence. Aaron stood in the corner of his cell, absolutely still. His face was blank, unreadable. But his eyes had changed. "You shouldn't have done that," the child whispered. The temperature in the cell block dropped 10 degrees in an instant. The lights flickered. Every electronic system in the facility began emitting a high-pitched whine that made the guards clutch their auditory organs. Voss felt it then, the thing he'd been trying to ignore for 3 months. The presence that lived inside that small human frame. Ancient, vast, hungry. "Aaron," Voss said carefully, his voice steady despite the primal terror flooding his system. "It was an accident." The guard didn't mean, "You shouldn't have done that," Aaron repeated, his voice somehow echoing from everywhere and nowhere. The energy barriers throughout the facility began to flicker. Not fail, flicker in patterns. Mathematical. Deliberate. The observers backed away. The guard who'd struck Nova tried to run, but he made it 3 steps before every molecule of oxygen in his body simultaneously ignited. He didn't even have time to scream. One moment he existed. The next he was ash dispersing through the recycled air. Aaron walked to Nova's body, knelt down, and gently picked up the broken creature. His tears fell silently as he cradled it against his chest. "I told them," he whispered to the cat. "I told the council, told everyone who'd listen. Humans aren't dangerous because we're strong or smart or creative. We're dangerous because we love things that can die." The facility's main reactor began fluctuating wildly. Alarms shrieked. Guards ran in panic. The observers transmitted desperate distress signals. Voss stood frozen, understanding finally dawning. The destroyed battlecruiser. The dead colony. This child hadn't been found on a derelict ship. He'd been the only survivor because everyone else had tried to take something from him. "Aaron," Voss said, and he was surprised to find his voice gentle. "I'm sorry. We were wrong. I was wrong." The child looked up at him, tears still streaming. For a moment, Voss saw past the ancient power to the genuine grief of a small boy who'd lost his only friend. "I just wanted one thing," Aaron said. "One small thing that was mine, that needed me, that I could protect." He stood, still holding Nova, and the energy barriers dissolved like mist. "You can't keep us locked up forever, Warden. You can't take everything from us and expect us to remain docile. That's not how humanity works. We don't break cleanly. We don't submit quietly." The reactor stabilized. The alarms silenced. The lights returned to normal. Aaron walked past Voss, past the terrified observers, past every guard and weapon and security measure designed to contain him. N01 moved to stop him at the facility's main entrance. Aaron paused and looked back. "Tell the council that humans will join their civilization willingly. Will follow their rules, respect their laws, contribute to their society. But only if you understand one fundamental truth." His eyes glowed faintly in the harsh fluorescent light. "Never, ever, take away what a human loves. Because we'll burn down galaxies to protect it."